Some stories never end. They just pause. Time moves forward, but old wounds can linger beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The feud between Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump is one of those rare, enduring rivalries that seems to define an era. Their public clashes have become almost legendary, a recurring drama in American pop culture. On September 3, 2025, Trump reignited their decades-long conflict with a post on Truth Social, threatening to revoke Rosie's citizenship and calling her not a great American. The post quickly went viral, sparking outrage and disbelief. This wasn't just another insult. It followed Rosie's public apology for misidentifying a school shooter as a MAGA supporter. Trump seized the moment to escalate, using her mistake as ammunition in their ongoing war of words. The threat was shocking, but not entirely surprising for those who've watched their public clashes. Their feud has always been intense, but this time, the stakes felt higher. Trump had floated a similar idea in July, but this time it felt more serious, a pattern of using presidential power to target a critic. The idea of revoking citizenship for dissent sent shockwaves through political circles. The internet exploded, and suddenly the feud was about more than two celebrities. It was about free speech, the rights of every American, and the limits of presidential authority. Social media became a battleground for heated debate. Rosie, a comedian and actress, has long been an outspoken critic. Her willingness to speak out even when it's risky has made her both admired and controversial. Trump, now in his second term, used his platform to intimidate. His words carry the weight of the presidency, and his actions set a precedent for how leaders treat dissent. What began as personal insults has become a battle over democracy's core principles. The right to criticize those in power is fundamental to a free society. The conflict now symbolizes America's deep divisions. It's a reflection of the polarization that has gripped the nation in recent years. It's no longer just a celebrity spat. It's a fight over power, accountability, and the boundaries of public discourse. The world is watching to see how far this will go. The escalation forces us to ask, how far can those in power go to silence dissent? And what happens when the lines between personal vendetta and public policy blur? And what does that mean for the rest of us? In a democracy, the answer to that question affects everyone, not just the famous faces at the center of the storm. To truly understand the intensity of this feud, let's rewind the clock to December 2006, a time when reality TV was booming and the lines between celebrity and news were starting to blur. Rosie O'Donnell, then a bold and outspoken co-host on The View, took aim at Donald Trump after he decided to give a second chance to a scandal-plagued Miss USA. Her criticism wasn't just about the pageant, it was about what she saw as Trump's pattern of behavior. On live television, Rosie called him a snake oil salesman, accusing him of being more interested in publicity than in principles. Her words were sharp, and they struck a nerve. Trump didn't hold back. He fired back in the media, launching personal attacks on Rosie's appearance, her career, and her character, escalating the situation far beyond a simple disagreement. Headlines exploded. This wasn't just a spat. It was the beginning of a war of words that would stretch on for nearly 2 decades, capturing the public's attention at every turn. The feud quickly became a media fixture, with every new insult and comeback dissected on talk shows, in tabloids, and across the internet. It was entertainment, but it was also something darker. Fast forward to 2015. When Trump announced his run for president, his long-running feud with Rosie resurfaced, becoming a talking point that followed him onto the campaign trail. During the very first Republican debate, Trump was asked about his derogatory comments about women. He didn't hesitate. He singled out Rosie, saying, "Only Rosie O'Donnell," drawing laughter from the crowd. The audience laughed, but for many watching at home, it was a chilling moment, a personal vendetta playing out on a national stage in front of millions. Throughout his campaign and even into his presidency, Trump continued to invoke Rosie's name, using her as a symbol to justify his attacks and rally his supporters. For Rosie, the experience was deeply personal. She described it as the worst bullying she'd ever endured, with the attacks affecting her both publicly and privately. What began as a clash between two celebrities soon morphed into something much bigger, a powerful political figure targeting a private citizen, blurring the lines between entertainment and real-life consequences. This feud set a new precedent, showing just how personal grudges could be wielded as weapons in the political arena, changing the tone of public discourse. And as the headlines kept coming, one thing was clear. This feud was far from over, and its impact would be felt for years to come. Trump's threat to revoke Rosie's citizenship takes the feud into constitutional territory. Can a president actually do this? The answer is no. The 14th Amendment guarantees birthright citizenship. No president can strip it away. The Supreme Court affirmed this in 1967. Citizenship can't be revoked unless someone chooses to give it up. Legal experts were quick to point out Trump's lack of authority. Expatriation requires a voluntary act, not a presidential decree or a social media post. So why make the threat? It's a political move, energizing his base and projecting power. Even empty, the threat chills dissent, signaling that critics could be targeted. It's about testing limits and keeping the feud and Trump's authority in the headlines. The message, disagree with me, and you risk more than just words. This isn't just about Rosie. It's about the precedent it sets for all Americans. The legal impossibility doesn't make the threat any less dangerous. It's a powerful political statement, not a legal one. Rosie O'Donnell didn't back down. She fought back with wit and defiance, refusing to let intimidation silence her. Her resilience became a beacon for many who felt powerless in the face of public attacks. After Trump's first threat, she called him King Joffrey with a tangerine spray tan, declaring, "I'm not yours to silence." Her sharp humor cut through the noise, making headlines and sparking conversations across the country. Her responses, laced with pop culture references, went viral, showing she could match Trump's platform. Rosie's words became rallying cries, shared by thousands who admired her courage and quick wit. When threatened again, she quipped, "Banishing me again? Logan Roy would be proud," framing Trump as a petty tyrant. Her ability to turn insults into satire made her a formidable opponent in the public eye. But Rosie didn't just defend herself, she went on the offensive, tying her battle to broader issues of justice. She spoke out about the dangers of silencing dissent and the importance of standing up for marginalized voices. After Trump's re-election, Rosie made the difficult decision to move to Ireland with her child, citing safety concerns and the erosion of rights in the U.S. The move was both personal and political, a statement against the climate of fear. She's seeking Irish citizenship, making her move a statement of protest. For Rosie, Ireland represented not just a safe haven, but a place to rebuild and continue her advocacy from afar. From Ireland, Rosie remains a vocal critic, her distance giving her new perspective and freedom. She uses her platform to highlight injustices both in the U.S. and abroad, refusing to be silenced by borders. Her posts are closely watched, and she's received support from celebrities who see her as a symbol of resistance. Fans and fellow activists rally behind her, amplifying her message and drawing inspiration from her stand. Rosie's refusal to be intimidated has transformed her from a target into a rallying point for dissent. Her journey has inspired others to speak out, even when the risks are high. She's not just fighting for herself, she's standing up for everyone's right to speak out. Her story is a reminder that the fight for free expression is ongoing and deeply personal. Her defiance resonates far beyond her own story, echoing in the voices of those who refuse to be silenced. In her latest response, Rosie shifted the conversation with a single line, "Epstein survivors are the reckoning and your gold lame throne is melting." Suddenly, the feud wasn't just about her, it was about Trump's alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. By invoking Epstein survivors, Rosie raised the stakes, suggesting their quest for justice is a greater threat to Trump than any critic. The image of a melting throne symbolized the fragility of Trump's power in the face of truth. Rosie's words echoed public demands for transparency in the Epstein case. She amplified calls for the release of documents and accountability for those involved. By aligning herself with the survivors, Rosie reframed the feud as a fight for justice, not just personal vindication. It's no longer just Rosie versus Trump. It's about holding the powerful to account. Her statement was a savvy move, keeping the focus on a much larger moral crisis. Rosie used her platform to ensure the Epstein issue stayed in the spotlight. Her fight became a symbol for a broader reckoning. To grasp the weight of Rosie's comment, remember the Epstein case. Epstein, a convicted sex trafficker, moved in elite circles: politicians, business leaders, royalty. After his 2019 death, many questions and documents remain sealed. There's bipartisan demand for full transparency to expose who enabled Epstein's crimes. Trump's name reportedly appears in unreleased files, but he's dismissed calls for their release as partisan attacks. Rosie's reference points to this lack of transparency, suggesting Trump has something to hide. Her comment turns their feud into a public demand for accountability. It's about more than insults. It's about exposing the truth. At first glance, Rosie versus Trump looks like a celebrity spat, but it's a mirror for America's biggest issues: power, citizenship, and justice. When a president threatens citizenship, it's not just personal, it's an attack on fundamental rights. The feud highlights the dangers of punishing dissent and the importance of free speech. Rosie's call for Epstein accountability turns her defense into a demand for moral reckoning. The real question: will America be a place where justice applies to all, or just the powerful? This feud isn't just about their history, it's about the country's future. It forces us to confront what kind of democracy we want. Rosie and Trump's battle is a product of the social media age. Platforms like Truth Social and Instagram let them speak directly to millions. No filters, no gatekeepers. Trump's posts, amplified by the presidency, can unleash waves of online harassment. This digital power raises questions about regulating leaders' speech to prevent abuse. But social media also empowers critics like Rosie, letting her respond in real time and shape her own narrative. The feud shows social media is both a tool for empowerment and a weapon for intimidation. Public discourse is faster, more personal, and more toxic than ever. The stakes: who controls the narrative and who gets to speak? In this new arena, everyone has a megaphone, but the president's is the loudest. What can we learn from this feud? It's more than gossip. It's a lesson in modern public debate. Entertainment, politics, and personal grudges now blur together, turning private spats into national battles. Rosie's persistence shows the power of speaking truth to power, even when it's risky. The feud warns of the dangers of escalating rhetoric. When threats replace debate, democracy suffers. It's a cautionary tale about polarization and the high stakes of public discourse. The real question: do we want a public square for debate or a battlefield for the loudest voices? This feud holds up a mirror to America, forcing us to decide what kind of society we want. The choice is ours.